today we're going to be taking a look at my favorite budget carrier of all time. This is the LAPG Atlas plate carrier. And while you're here, you may as well like, share, and subscribe, and go ahead and comment your favorite plate carrier in the comments down below. Now, full disclosure on the LAPG Atlas, this is a plate carrier that I've owned for a couple years now. However, LAPG did actually send this plate carrier out, as well as their low-vis, which is a much more stripped-down, simplistic version of this plate carrier. It's a totally different design, really, but they did send me out both of these plate carriers, and I've been using them for a couple years. This one here is still my quote-unquote go-to simple setup, though I've used both of them in a variety of circumstances. I don't use them necessarily every week, but certainly a couple times a month I'll be taking them out and using them, and they've held up quite well over the past 2 years. But keep in mind that there is a relationship there with LAPG. Now, getting into the basics of what this is a completely laser-cut MOLLE plate carrier, and that's the most basic description of it. But basically, anything that you want to throw in here that is MOLLE compatible, if you're looking for a MOLLE setup, this is going to do that. There are, of course, other plate carriers out there that utilize different systems that might be advantageous to what you're looking to do with it. But if you're looking for a very simple MOLLE setup that is very secure, not very quick adjustable, but very secure in its mounting, then this is a good way to go. Now, one of the most important features of this plate carrier is that it's very inexpensive. I believe these go for under $100 usually, and then occasionally they go on sale for 40, 50, 60 bucks, somewhere in that range, meaning that they're very inexpensive, and a lot of people, or most people in fact, can afford them in this price category. Now, the way that they achieve that cost, that low cost, is by using overseas manufacturing. I believe all of their plate carriers are manufactured in Vietnam. I believe that's where they're manufactured, so you kind of pick your poison about overseas manufacturing. Not made in the US, but they're also not charging US prices for them. Now, as far as the materials and construction goes, it is mostly 500D Kodra, which is a very tough, durable material. And as I mentioned, this is a plate carrier I've been using for quite some time now, over 2 years at this point, and it has held up quite well. Now, if you're somebody who's going to be using a plate carrier every single day in like security, cop, whatever your use case may be, you might want to look into something that is US made, that has a higher level of durability and quality to it if you're going to be spending a significant amount of time in it. Now, the best way to go over construction and features of a plate carrier is to take it apart so you can actually see how it's all put together. Now, keep in mind, this is after a couple of years, and the Velcro, the hook and loop Velcro on the cummerbund and the front panel are still very, very strong, which is something that you want to see, especially if, again, you are spending some money on a plate carrier. Now, very nice on the front panel, now that we have it separated here, it does have 2 hidden QD buckles underneath the left and right shoulder pad, respectively. Of course, that allows it to come apart very quickly. For swapping it out, if you did want to put on a different front panel entirely, you could use a different front plate bag, as long as you have these buckles that are on the inside transferred over to another front bag. You could use a different front bag if you really wanted to. Now, on the front panel itself, up top, we of course have MOLLE that is covered in hook and loop Velcro for patches or anything else that you want to stick up high. Usually I don't run anything else up there, but some people like to do that. Now, moving down the panel, we have our laser cut MOLLE in, I believe, a 12-inch by 9-inch grit, which is a lot of MOLLE for, again, attaching whatever you want. Right now, this is a BFG Speed 3 mag panel. It works okay. I'm not sure if I'm really sold on the style of it. Re-indexing mags is not impossible with this kind of stretchy material that's on there. Overall, it is very fast because it is, again, the BFG Speed pouches, but maybe not my favorite way to retain magazines, though again, it does work. Now, to lift up the front panel itself and access the cummerbund and again the hook and loop material, which is still quite strong after a couple years. Basically, it doesn't come off with the mags there, but you can see this is where your cummerbund will go. Now, because the cummerbund is completely removable, you can swap it out for anything that is hook and loop. So if you like a different style of cummerbund, don't necessarily want the big heavy one that's included, you can swap that out. And in fact, I've actually used the cummerbund from the LAPG low-vis, and I've used that because it's kind of a more stretchy, elasticy material, which is a little bit more comfortable. It shaves about 8 ounces off the total weight of the plate carrier, which is quite nice. And again, you can do anything that is hook and loop. Now, to get to the plate itself, you have another panel underneath that, and then you have your plates. Now, this is, again, the Premier body armor. I made a video on these. These are their 3+ plates, again 3+ in quotations. These are solid polyurethane and they come in at 2.8 pounds each. So I am using them because they are very light and kind of cheating in terms of being very comfortable in a plate carrier. Now, getting to the back panel, it is a semi-rigid material that has about an 1/8 inch of almost like a hard foam material, meaning that this is actually very comfortable because it will take the hard edges of whatever plate that you have and kind of round and smooth them out. And again, it has a little bit of give to it and a little bit of form, so it is actually very comfortable. Now, one thing that you will notice on the back of this panel is that it is completely solid. There is no mesh. There are no pontoons for, extra airflow or what have you. So this is a very sweaty plate carrier. Now, you can add them on if you so desire, but again, it doesn't come with them. So depending on your environment, if you're in a very hot, sweaty environment, this may be something that you want to look for, something with a little bit more of a mesh backer or something else that is, again, just a little bit more comfortable. Now, last thing to talk about on the front panel is, of course, your shoulder straps. You notice that these are very wide, just under 3 inches wide, meaning that they do spread the weight very well. They are very comfortable. On the front here, you have these little elastic panels that you can thread different things through. If you're running comms or something that had a push-to-talk or water supply on the back, you can route cables through these to keep them tied down and secure. Now, taking a look at the back of the plate carrier, it is very similar to the front. The backing material here in between the plate and your back is going to be that, again, semi-rigid, foamy-like material that does, again, make it very comfortable, though it doesn't breathe very well. Now, in the back here, we only have one pull tab for the plate bag itself because the back panel here does not lift off like it does on the front because the cummerbund is secured inside of the back of the plate carrier. Now, you can get it out simply by removing what you have on it here, and then you can pull it out and then swap it out for whatever you want, or you can leave it as is. Now, talking about the shoulder straps, again, very wide. They have this grippy material here on the bottom to give them a little bit more security on your shoulders. They are, of course, adjustable, so you can make them longer or shorter as needed. I'm not a particularly tall person, so I have them shortened down almost as much as they will go, and it fits quite well, though if you are a very tall person or even shorter than I am, I'm about 5'7", you might have some issues with fitment. Now, talking about the back of the back panel, it is again very similar to the front panel. It has your MOLLE up top with Velcro on it if you want to throw on patches or what have you. In the back here, you also have a drag handle that does work. I have tested this. It is stitched about 4 inches down on the inside of the back plate bag, so it is quite secure, and I have actually been dragged by this. And then underneath all that, you of course have even more laser cut MOLLE, so whatever you want to throw on the back of it, water systems, additional components, what have you, you can totally do so. Generally, I run all of my plate carriers slick in the back, and then if I need sustainment, water, what have you, I have an additional backpack for that is separate, so it's a little bit more modular in that regard. I don't like to have stuff on the back of my plate carrier. If I can't access it quickly, if I'm by myself, I have to take the plate carrier off to get to it. I don't like that idea, so usually if I'm by myself, and I usually am shooting by myself, I usually have the back of the plate carriers slick, as I can't reach anything back there anyways. Now, getting into the cummerbunds themselves, these are, of course, completely coated on the outside in this laser cut MOLLE, which is quite nice. You also have room on the inside of it. They have these big panels, pouches that are Velcro secured. I don't have anything in these right now. For your 6x6 side plates, if you choose to run side plates, you can also fit a bunch of other stuff in there as well. You can use it as extra magazines, extra storage, medical, so on and so forth. And you can run it very secure on the inside of the plate carrier for things that you may not need in sort of a quick access role. Now, on the inside of the cummerbund here, you may notice that I have a tourniquet holder. This is from Infinity Tactical Solutions. Unfortunately, they are no longer making products. I do have a bunch of their products on all of my plate carriers, but unfortunately, they're not making them anymore. That you can find this sort of Velcro style tourniquet holder, radio holder, so on and so forth, from a variety of locations. Now, on the other side, you will notice that it is basically mirrored. However, this side has a Baofeng UV5R instead of a tourniquet, and you could swap those out for magazine holders if you wanted extra magazines. If you could actually double up the pouches, and you could get magazine, radio tourniquets, so on and so forth, whatever you want on your plate carrier. Now, here is the plate carrier all back together as you can see it. So I have my radio and the tourniquet secured underneath the cummerbund, which means that they are held very tight to my body. They are very secure, and again, you could add and stack more things on the inside if you so desire. I like to keep the plate carriers incredibly simple. You can always add more stuff if you need more stuff. I generally don't. Now, when I'm using this plate carrier, usually I'm using it in conjunction with a belt. On that belt usually has at least another tourniquet and additional medical as well. So that's why there's not too much stuff on here. I usually also have 2 pistol magazines and a rifle magazine on the belt, which is more than enough ammo for just doing stuff at the range. And again, if you need more stuff for your specific situation, you have all of the laser cut MOLLE you could ever want to do so. Now, this is again an inexpensive plate carrier that is very comfortable and doesn't breathe very well, but it does have all of the mounting options in terms of laser cut MOLLE all the way around the plate carrier for attaching your MOLLE components. Now, it's not necessarily going to be the lightest plate carrier out there. You can definitely shave off a few ounces here and there by going with other systems. There are better mounting systems, so on and so forth, but you're going to pay for all those features. So if you're someone who's looking for a plate carrier on a budget and you need it to hold everything that you need it to have a certain level of comfortability, because this is, again, a very comfortable plate with the shoulder pads and the plate bag designs. Now, the plate bags themselves are 11.5 by 12.5, so rated for 10 by 12s. So basically any of your standard size plates will fit. Some of your super thick plates or oversized plates won't, but again, your mileage will vary depending on exactly what plates you're buying. But again, the LAPG Atlas has all of the mounting options you could want. It's fairly comfortable, and on top of that, even though it is inexpensive, it is fairly durable and has held up quite well to years of abuse at this point. Now again, depending on who you are, depending on what you do, this level of durability may not be enough for you, and depending on, again, in your use case scenario as well. So you may want to look at higher quality, more expensive, tougher options. But for probably the vast majority of people just getting into it and you're looking for a basic plate carrier that does everything that you need it to do, the LAPG Atlas is personally my favorite and also a very good starting point. So, with all of that out of the way, guys, let me know what you guys think of the LAPG Atlas in the comments down below, and if there's any other sort of better or different budget plate carriers that I should be checking out. But with all of that out of the way, guys, I hope you all enjoyed. I will see you in the next one. Peace off.